being able to purchase every deal that you come across that makes sense, and how much money have you passed up on a house you drove by or deal got sent your way because you didn't have the funding? How much potential profit have you lost? Like, let that motivate you into starting to have these conversations with these people that you know.
You're listening to the AZREIA Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from AZREIA, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Welcome to another episode of the AZREIA Show. I'm your host, Marcus Maloney, and we have our executive director and co-host, Mike Prem, with us. How you doing, Mike?
Wonderful. Glad to be here.
All right. So, guys, this is a remote recording on today. So if you're watching YouTube, thank you for being here. Also, subscribe to our channel if you just happen to bump up to it. But if you're listening to the podcast via audio, thank you for being here as well. So we have today, our guest is Sam Primm, who hails from St. Louis, Missouri. He's a Midwesterner. He's in St. Louis right now. Mike had a great question, right, Mike? If you guys are watching on YouTube, Mike was like, hey, Sam, where are you from? And then Mike answered his own question by seeing an arch in the back, seeing the St. Louis arch. But yeah, I digress. But let's kind of get started. So Sam, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you? What you're doing? How active are you in real estate? And then we'll jump right into some great questions for you.
Yeah, for sure. So from Missouri, St. Louis, Midwest, like you mentioned, I kind of like to say from Midwest and from the middle class. I didn't inherit anything or grow up in an entrepreneurial household. I just was on that W-2 path that most people are on, that are probably listening, or most people, at some point in their lives are on. And for some reason, I just wasn't getting fulfillment out of that job. So I decided to start poking around and investing in real estate. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I know is super cliche, but it did kind of change my mindset of what I could do. And then I started investing in real estate on the side in 2014. I quit my job in 2018 and been going all in on real estate full time for the past, I guess, 6 years. So from like 2014 to now, so going on right about 10 years, done a little over 1,000 deals as far as wholesales and flips. We do about 200 to 250 wholesales and flips a year here in the St. Louis market. I've been able to buy about $50 million in real estate, single families, about 150 single families, some apartment complex, some self-storage, a little hotel resort thing down in Branson. And now I educate people on how to do that because like I said, didn't have a leg up or a silver spoon. I just had to force my way to those results. And I learned a lot, screwed up a ton. So now I have kind of systems and pathways to help people that are wanting to do something similar to me with a little less headaches and a little less screw up. So I eat, breathe, and sleep real estate and post about it on social media as I'm doing it.
So
great intro.
Yeah, great intro.
What about the rest of the podcast? Let's break that down now. All right, cool. 6 years ago, right, is when you started. Very impressive.
Yep, I quit my job. It was a good job, actually. I was making about 250 grand a year in St. Louis, which is good anywhere, but definitely St. Louis. And I took that leap of faith to quit, which some people are like, well, yeah, you were making good money, but it's also riskier, in my opinion, because there's a lot less $250,000 jobs out there than $75,000 jobs. So if it didn't work out, I was going to have to work my way back up another corporate ladder. So yeah, quit my job in 2018 in spring. And I had done some pretty cool things on the side for 4 years. So I thought, if I can buy 20 rentals and do maybe 20 flips at the time, probably 10 hours a week, what can I do in 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week? So that's when I took the leap of faith and had a 2-year-old daughter and a wife and a pool going in the backyard and said, let's go all in on real estate. So I did.
So one of the things that people will say, Sam, right, is they'll say, okay, well, Sam had a 250, 1,000 annual job, right? He must have saved up and then got into real estate, but I'm only making 50,000. Can you talk to that person that's making 50,000 and they're thinking about making that leap? What's some of the things that they should prepare for when making that leap to quit their job to go into real estate full time?
Yeah, I love that question because a lot of, I'm not a just jump all in. So a couple things. One, I own 50 million in real estate and haven't used a dime of my own money to do it. So that $250,000 salary didn't help at all, especially because I bought about 48 million of it after I quit my job. So it's not really a component. It does help you be a little more bankable. But what I would tell people is what I did that worked, because I've seen other people do it other ways, is, I had built confidence in buying rentals and flipping and wholesaling on a smaller scale. And I had the connections, I had the banking relationships, I had the private lender relationships, the hard money lender relationships, the contractor connections, as well as deals in the pipeline when I quit my job. I didn't just quit and say, oh, I'm ready to quit. I've been thinking about it for a while. So we had some rentals, had some equity, had some money saved up just in case, right? And then also had, I think, like two or three wholesales that were closing in the next few weeks, month, and like maybe three rehabs that were closing over the next few months. So I had some known active income that was coming, as well as relationships that I knew that if I spent more time developing them and had more free time, I could get more money and get more relationships with banks. So I kind of had a base figured out for myself, confidence in my wife to make the leap. And then I just figured if I could execute more on what I already had built, it would expand however much I could make it expand.
Love it, man. So, okay, so what about your mindset, right? Because obviously, you're a go-getter, it's just obvious, right? So some people are still like Mark, going kind of into Marcus's questions, like how do you explain that? Like everything you just said is amazing. So it's like, what kind of books were you reading, or were you just or what kind of people were you hanging around with? Like what helped you support that momentum of everything you were doing, or was it just natural?
I don't think it was supernatural. I think I've always kind of been that competitive person and probably a little bit of a lunatic or psycho. Maybe that kind of helps
There you go.
at certain degrees, right? But I think it was one of those things where I just knew that I could do more than what I was doing. I was doing good at a job, but I didn't want to do that forever. I wanted to be able to have more financial control and stability, because while it's a good job and a good company, who's to say that some old crusty dude in a boardroom is going to make a decision that derails the company? I have no control over that. So I wanted more control, and I knew that I'm pretty thick-headed, but 90% of millionaires are created through real estate. Let's not try to create a new app or a new thing that I don't know anything about. Let's go down the proven path. And I knew St. Louis was a good market for it. So I think books are a big part of it. We read books to this day, as far as like mindset books and books to help us grow as people and leaders. In my company, we do like every quarter we read a book and do like a book club thing where we talk
Yeah.
about it to try to grow. But I feel like mindset's one of those things where it just is developed over time like a muscle. It's not something that you can just work on once a month and have it work. If you go to the gym once a month, you're not going to, gain any muscle or lose any weight. It's one of those things where it took me a while to figure it out, but you have to work on it. I used to be one of those people that I'll roll up my sleeves, you'll have a good mindset, and I'll win because I'm going to work harder than you. And that works to a certain degree, but there's ceilings to that, right? You have to have a mindset of abundance and a mindset of giving other people autonomy, a mindset of it's okay to fail. All of those things, have to happen for you to grow and break through that ceiling. So I think I quickly saw that in order to get to the next level, I was going to have to work on my mindset and myself, and not just outwork people, because that only works to a certain degree.
Love it, man. So you're in so has everything you've done been in St. Louis?
Yeah, everything except we own a little small little boutique hotel resort thing in Branson, Missouri, which is about 4 hours, 5 hours away. But other than that, all the deals we do are here in St. Louis. Like I said, we do 200 to 250 a year. We're the biggest single home buyer in St. Louis as far as distress houses goes. There's like We Bugly houses, but those are franchises and things like that. So yeah, we spend a lot of time and energy finding distressed properties all here in St. Louis. It's kind of your backyard works really well for it, and it's a kind of a pride thing. We want to help make St. Louis a better place and more desirable place to live.
Love
There
it,
you
man.
go.
So being the biggest, 250 deals a year, what's the marketing look like in your company?
Yeah, so we're a little bit unique. So we spend about 60 grand a month in marketing.
Mhm.
We buy about 70% of our houses, or 60% of our houses, with no marketing spend. We have 5 full-time acquisitions reps, and their job is to go connect with wholesalers, connect with real estate agents, elder law attorneys, senior care facilities, insurance agents, contractors, all of these people that stumble upon regularly or just every once in a while distressed houses. Their job is to go network with them and let them know we're their easy button when they're ready to rock and roll. We probably buy 50 houses a year from agents alone. So we're able to, go out and proactively get networking, quote unquote, free leads, even though they take time. And then we fill the buyers up to a certain degree with paid marketing. And we do PPC, a little bit of TV, direct mail, mainly more than anything. So we do a little bit, we've experiment all the time with a little bit of everything, but our biggest sources are the ones that work for everybody. You just have to continually do it, which is direct mail and things like that, and Facebook ads and SEO and things like that.
And that's funny that you say that, Sam, because a lot of people, marketing goes in cycles, just like buyers goes in cycles, just like the market itself go in cycles. And a lot of people was like, oh, direct mail is dead. You never do direct mail. You want to move over to cold calling and everything like that. But what you said was really true. You just have to continue to do it no matter how many stumbling blocks that you come across. So guys, you listening, if you feel like your marketing isn't working right now, just wait, just continue to keep on doing it. And guess what? You'll hit, that easy button where it's like, wow, deals are coming through consistently. And I know you got to have a long runway in order to do that, sometimes, but man, thanks for sharing that, because it's definitely key.
Well, that's what we love to promote, networking. All right. This business is all relationships. So the fact that your acquisitions reps have a plan to go out and meet people in different industries and build those relationships in that pipeline is huge. Well, we say, like, you could run your wholesale business from your phone, man. Like, if you wanted to be like a solopreneur and just have a handful of deals and make a good living every year, you can do it just by networking, because it could be overwhelming seeing the guys on TV, the PPCs and all the trendy stuff. That's huge, man. Good for you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's all about intentionality, right? So we track marketing leads like you and probably everybody else does, right? But we also track the networking leads, the connector leads, what we call them. So we, in our CRM, we have networking and we have marketing. So somebody has a connector, they have a drip sequence of, hey, connect with this real estate agent once a week via this channel. You got a lead sent to you. All right, put it in the system. Let's track it. Like, so we treat them the same and put as much attention on both, if not more, on the connector side. So again, it's all about that intentionality and focus and consistency that we talked about, that you talked about, Marcus. We buy just as many houses on our fifth mailer as our second mailer, as our third mailer. So the first mailer gets a little bit more, but 2 through 6 almost exactly equal. So if you stop after 2, you're not going to get the purchase on the fourth mailer. So it's one of those things that just consistency, intentionality, and the networking and the marketing, or the networking and the marketing. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Perfect.
that timing, right? Like that follow-up that rep does to that agent, like you can't even put a KPI on it. It's like, oh, I just went to a listing. It's gonna be a pocket listing, right? You know what I mean? Like you just can't beat that constant follow-up. That's a great. All right.
So Sam, how do you make that decision between, hey, you know what, we're going to flip this or we're going to hold this in our portfolio?
Yeah, so it's a combination of a few things. The biggest thing is what the company needs, right? So it's a decent sized company. The flipping company is about 21, 22 employees. So we have overhead, we have expenses, we have marketing. So do we need cash now? Cash cycle. All right, let's wholesale these next few, or this one would make sense as a wholesale. Let's get some cash coming in the door. We always like to have big chunks in flips. So, cash now, wholesale, bigger chunks cash later, flips, and strategically have those hit where we're having 3 to 5 flips hit the market every single month. So we know we have, hopefully bigger chunks coming in. And then, does it make sense as a rental as far as cash flow goes? That's the other side of it, because 60% of what we buy, 70% maybe, doesn't make sense as a rental. A $450,000 house in St. Louis is not going to cash flow, right? We need that $150,000 to $300,000 house. That's what will cash flow in St. So it's one of those things where, does it cash flow? And if it does, then if it cash flows and our other buckets are full, we'll probably keep it as a rental. But if they need the money, the company needs the money, or it won't cash flow, which happens a lot, then we wholesale it or flip it or do whatever.
Okay. What have you guys adjusted, right, since the market adjusted? Because St. Louis is similar to Chicago, right? At one point you were picking those things up for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, right? And then it jumped up to, wow, okay, same thing we were paying $50,000 for, now it's 150 grand. What did you guys strategically change in order to change with the market?
Yeah, so the biggest thing we're doing is we're definitely flipping more than we did. There's a very limited supply of nice move-in ready houses on the retail retail side as well as the rental side. So there's just a limited amount of supply. So we are flipping a little bit more than we had in the past. We're not keeping as many rentals as we had in the past, but as far as like what we're doing, we're just kind of being a little more realistic with cash flow. Prices low, interest rates low, fast appreciation, great cash flow. That is a very, very unique time in my investing career and probably going forward. I think too many people are waiting for the 3-4% interest rates again. And honestly, on commercial loans, I don't know if we'll ever see, we got some 3.75, 3.95 commercial loans, and I don't know that we'll ever see that again. Honestly, Fed's funds rates rarely ever zero, probably will never be again. So I think just having the new expectation that this is the way of the world going forward, in my opinion, we're historically average on interest rates. Inflation is a little bit higher than everybody would like. I understand that. But as far as interest rates go, this is probably where we're going to be. I see us in this 5.5 to 6 to 8% range for a long time, unless something crazy happens, which no one can predict, nor should they run a business predicting something crazy to happen. So I just think being realistic and being able to walk into a bird deal and not use any of your own money, pull out 10 grand, cash flow $400 a month, those days are over. And I don't think they're coming back. So we have to get strategic, set the expectation, get a deal, not have to leave any money in it, or just pull a little bit out or break even on it and make $100 a month, $150 a month. That's just what we want to do if we want to buy rentals. And I'm okay with it because of the tax savings, and real estate doubles in value every 15 years. And I always say I'm going to make 200 grand in 10 years every rental house I buy, with growth and debt pay down and cash flow. So just understanding that it's not going to be like it was, I think. And then also there's strategies like we're doing quite a few midterm rentals these days, as opposed to long-term rentals. Short-term rentals is pretty saturated, and St. Louis isn't the best for that. We do have a few, but midterm rentals, I mean, that's like getting in short-term rentals in 2005, in my opinion. I think there's like 2 million traveling nurses in the United States, and there's 200,000 midterm rental listings on Furnish Finder. So for those that don't know, midterm is just like renting on a 30, 60, 90-day lease to traveling nurses, corporate leases, digital nomads, which I think that space is growing. So you have what's in very, very high demand. So you're able to charge, we charge double what we get for long terms for midterms. Now they move out a few times a year, but you still get high occupancy, you cash flow way more, they take care of the property, and it gets around all of the legalities of short-term rentals, because states or cities ban them by saying can't rent for less than 30 days. Well, midterms are 30 to 90 days. So it gets around that. So anyways, so just, I think more mindset and expectation, as well as a few strategies, are allowing us to still add rentals.
So the midterms, are you guys you guys have like major hospitals? Like I know Cleveland has like the Mayo, or was it the Mayo? No. Cleveland.
Yeah, I think
Clinic.
that's in Cleveland. Yeah, the Mayo Clinic. Yeah, I think that's in. Yeah, no, we do, and any decent sized town is going to have that. But yeah, I mean, we have midterms that are 20 minutes from a hospital and 2 minutes from a hospital. So somebody's willing to travel a little bit. And my like brother-in-law's house 2 years ago got hit by a tornado, and he had to have like an insurance pay 6-month leases at a time for until his house was kind of rebuilt and restructured. So there are so many of these opportunities. I don't think people understand how big the real estate industry actually is. So even 1% of the real estate industry is billions of dollars worth of real estate. So if people don't, I think, understand that if you have this midterm rental, you can do the traveling nurse near a hospital. But I know people that every 3 months move to a different city to live because they're not, not tied down and they don't have a long relationship or whatever. So I think it's understanding that there is that opportunity out there a lot is huge. It doesn't have to be by hospital. Obviously that's ideal. The vast majority of midterm rentals are traveling nurses, but you can rent it to other people as well.
Love it. I see.
So go ahead, Mike.
No, I like this conversation. So meaning, like, usually, like, sometimes when you get into these podcasts, you look on social media, you got that investor that's like, I'm the number one wholesaler, or I do large multifamily, But I take pride in being able to, when the lead comes in the top of the funnel, do I want to hold it? Do I want to short term it, midterm it? Right? Do I want to flip it? Do I want to wholesale it? You know what I mean? Do I wholesale it? I like the fact that we all can just kind of have that. And you could tell, you could talk the talk of every strategy,
Mhm.
So I don't have really a question. I'm just saying, I like when I could talk to like an old school investor that's like, hey, we do everything, man. Right? We don't just scale large multifamily and raise millions of dollars. So I'm just liking this. Cool, man. So let's segue a little bit, or unless you had a question on the midterms, Mark. Marcus?
No, no, I was one of the things that I was just going to say, like you said, Mike, it's the importance of diversifying each lead so you know exactly what to do so you don't have leads dropping out of your funnel because you don't know how to convert those leads. So, man,
Yeah,
great topic, Sam.
Yeah, no, I agree. One last thing on that is people like you brought up the point of like people like I think it's catchy to say only do sub 2 or only do this. I get the marketing and behind it. And they say you gotta be niche down. Riches are in the niches, right? Well, I find distressed assets. That's an extreme niche in my opinion. You're right. Like I'm not like trying to start an e-com store. I tried that, didn't work. I'm not trying to go do all these other crazy things, right? Not opening restaurants. I find distressed real estate assets. I feel like that's an incredible niche just because I branch off my exit strategies to maximize each deal. That doesn't mean I'm not diversified or that doesn't mean I'm not niche down. It just means I'm being smart with the asset that I get under contract and purchase. So yeah, I agree with you guys. It's very niche down in my opinion to find distressed assets, distressed real estate assets. So yeah, I feel like some people are like you're spread all over the place. I'm like, no, I'm very, very narrow. The top of my funnel is only distressed real estate assets.
You have a large toolbox that you
Mhm.
built, right? Is
You
really
just
what
call me
it.
a tool. I'm just kidding.
No, no, no.
You know,
Yeah,
I call it being prudent, right? You're being prudent with your marketing dollars because you know
yeah.
how to position them, know how to change them. So that's great. Go ahead, Mike. You can say great.
No, that's true. Like it's like people come all the time. Like, is this a deal? Is this a deal? Deep discounts. Well, at least on the cash side of things. Like if you want to flip it, wholesale it, or even if it is a sub 2 or a carry, you still got to buy like from a motivated seller, right? People that need to sell the property. If someone's you have all the flexibility in the world from cash to creative. If you just get that true motivated seller, do you find that this same situation or are you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We look at it as like, yeah, you find this motivated seller, this distressed asset, and you're just there to provide the best solution for them possible. About half the houses we buy, we're the highest bid, about half we don't because we offer the best solution. So if you
Yep.
can structure things and guide the conversation and frame it to you're there to support them and help them through most likely not the most ideal situation for them or what they're inheriting, and you get the deal, great. If you don't, it's all right. It's a longer game play than, hey, I'm trying to get this deal and screw this old lady over, over
Mhm.
pennies on the dollar. It's like, what's the best solution for you in this situation? And it usually comes back around. We've had marketing houses that we got through marketing channels that we took care of them and did this and that. And we've gotten 4 or 5 buys from because they tell a friend and they tell their parents and they tell their sister. So it's all about doing the right thing. And usually the money stacks up, more when you do the right thing rather than just chasing the money.
Yeah, like so one thing my wife and I do is like she's an agent, right? So we do a lot of marketing. So we always put forward like, hey, we approach it like in the direct mail, list your house. My wife will say, hey, let me list your house, get you top dollar. Then for whatever reason, they speak to my wife, rapport is good. Here, I can get you max list, high price. This will help you out. Then what happens is, and she also says, hey, we're, professional home buyers, we buy rentals and stuff, and then we could pay cash or get you a cash offer. And they always then open up to her. That's like, well, this is going on, right? And then we also provide that cash offer, and we find that we can get that cash offer by trying to get them the best situation, like listing and getting the most money. Because when you call as a cash buyer, like, hey, you want a cash offer on your house? I'll give you, 50 cents in the dollar, and you hang up, whatever, like, and you just get bombarded. So that approach, going back into like trying to give them the best scenario, always kind of works for us. So maybe that'll help somebody in your approach. Yeah, man. Just thought about it. So how much, so that leads me to this then. Everyone likes to know, how many offers does it take to get a deal? Where are you at in St. Louis?
So it depends on the marketing channel. I'm not as involved in the marketing as I used to be. I used to so when we started, I like ran the sales and marketing, and now I'm kind of focused a little bit more on education and kind of fringe know what's going on in the flipping company as far as what we're doing. But last I checked, I think we're about 12, 13 leads per purchase. And I think like maybe 5 or 6 appointments per purchase. So,
Okay.
obviously not all leads lead to an appointment. So, certain marketing channels like maybe like cold calling or cold texting is probably like 25 leads per purchase, and then our SEO or probate, they're they're searching you out, or they have a legal reason to have to sell to get their money. So that's like 4 in 1, right? So it really just depends on the seller's motivation, the channel it comes in on. We usually say like, 10 to 12 per buy. So we know if we want to buy 10 houses this month, we're going to have to get 100 leads, kind of thing is how we kind of simply put it.
Awesome.
So what was your, Sam, when starting this, what was your overall goal, right? Because you were working, you were making good money, you didn't want to leave life up to chance by following and staying in that job. But what was that overall goal? Was it, hey, I want to go into real estate just to become a millionaire? I want to go into real estate to help people. I want to go into real estate to build a portfolio. What was that overall plan for you?
Yeah, my very first goal was to buy one house a year for 10 years and then start to pay them off. So that my first goal was, it seemed huge at the time, but it was, just 10 houses was that first goal. It was never really to quit my job. But once I got in there and was, the first house I bought, I planned to flip it and put 20% down, because 2014, when I started, I wasn't making 250 grand a year. So I didn't have enough money to put 20% down. I knew I wanted rentals. I knew they could lead to wealth, rich dad, poor dad. I knew I wanted a rental portfolio, I guess, is to answer your question, a small one, but 10 houses rental portfolio is my goal. My first house I bought with the plans to flip it and take the cash and put 20% down. But then I learned about the refinance and the BRRRR method, and I ended up keeping it. And I was like, holy crap, I own a house now that I didn't use any of my own money to buy. That's when the light bulb was like, I can do way more than 10 of these. So that's when the goal started to increase. And then the goal was 25 million in real estate by 2025. And we're sitting at 50 million here now. So the goals continue to get pushed up as we go. But it started out pretty small, and the goal was just to buy rentals. And then the goal was to buy enough rentals to quit my job. And then I realized that that's impossible to, get enough active income from rentals, nor is it responsible to quit your job. You need active income, and it either comes from your job or from flipping and wholesaling. So that's when I went deep into flipping and wholesaling, and that's when I was built up enough to be able to quit my job.
Excellent. I always like to get that foundation and background. That way people know you have to have a plan, right? You just can't go in and say, oh, I want to be a house flipper. Okay, well, what do you want that to lead to? So that's why I wanted to bring that up.
So how are you getting the money?
So we have a few different places. So the main source is private lenders. It's a huge misconception out there. I just actually shot a training on it, but I do polls on my social media quite a bit, and every time between, of a vast majority, between like 50 and 60% of people's reasons they don't invest in real estate is money. It's deals and money, and money's always the number one reason. Deals, and then fear and knowledge, and all the polls that I do. And so it's always people say that I don't have enough money, or I don't know anybody with money. And it's just like anything else. It's a lack of knowledge, and it's just a lack of knowing what actually things are. Like a private lender, everybody thinks is a rich aunt, rich uncle with 10 million bucks in the bank. Well, I don't have a rich aunt or uncle with 10 million bucks in the bank, so I don't know a private lender. Like, people just don't understand that private lenders are normal, everyday W-2 corporate employees. Like, my private lenders are an insurance agent, a teacher, a police officer, a paramedic, an engineer, a couple entrepreneurs, an architect, a sales manager. They're just like normal people. So anybody listening, you need to reframe your mind. Private lenders, and of course, there's fringes and there's exceptions, but your typical private lender is somebody in their late 40s, early 50s. Kids are in high school. They've lived at the same house for 20 years. They're super conservative in their investing. They have a 401k. They have an IRA. They have a money market account. They have a CD, and they have some stocks, and they're looking retirement in the face in 10 or 15 years, and they want another diversified income stream. So you're not asking for their entire retirement nest egg. You're asking them to self-direct their IRA and give it to you tax deferred. You're asking them to borrow against a 401k, or give you their CD when it matures, or take a little bit of money out of the stock market to diversify and be even safer. Like, that's your approach. Is I'm trying to give you a double-digit return, backed by real estate, backed by me, to give you another diversified income stream. And I know that's a lot, but if you approach it through that lens, rather than text everybody in your phone, do you have money? Like, what are you going to get from that? So I think everybody on here listening knows a private lender. They just maybe don't know what to say, or don't have the experience to get their money, but they know one. I promise there's way more money out there than deals, and it's not even close. So I always tell my students, like, envision being able to purchase every deal that you come across that makes sense. And how much money have you passed up on a house you drove by, or deal got sent your way because you didn't have the funding? How much potential profit have you lost? like let that motivate you into starting to have these conversations with these people that you know.
But Sam, I don't have a suit and a presentation, Sam.
It's guess what? If it was easy, everybody would do it. I always say we're trying to build wealth here, not widgets. It's one of those things where cliche sayings are cliche sayings for a reason. If you're just gonna have to put in the time and screw up a ton, and don't wear a damn suit. If I ever approached a private lender with a suit, he would told me to leave. So but also what you need is systems and guidance. That's why I'm sure you guys are. That's why you do your RIA. I'm sure you guys have coaches and masterminds you're involved in. That's why you pay money to learn other people's systems and knowledge. That is like the number one hack that I've learned in my entire career so far is paying money to be in rooms where your goals are people's realities. Like paying, I do it. And sorry, it's not free. It's part of it. I pay a lot of money a year, about 150 grand a year to be in masterminds and coaching programs of people that are where I want to be. And through osmosis and connections and systems and learning, I'm able to get there much faster. So you pay for education either through inefficiency or through somebody else's knowledge. There's no free way to do it. It's just not possible. I wish there was. There's just not.
Great point.
That
man.
was powerful. You said pay the money to be in rooms where other people's realities are your goals. That's big right there.
Yep.
Really is.
I put that quote on. I just like put it as like a post on Instagram, and I think it's up to like 40,000 likes and like 800,000 views. So other people thought it was powerful too. So I figured I keep using it.
I guess I know something.
Yeah, I think you do, but
So speaking of social media, you have a great page. Definitely give Sam a follow. Do you do it all yourself? Do you have a team? Like, what's your social media look like?
Yeah, so I started it all myself. So I started in 2020. My actually goal was to create a YouTube channel that each video made like $200 to $400. So it was like buying digital rentals was my thought, and then sell my channel. But I suck at YouTube, did then, still kind of do now. So I wasn't getting much traction. So like end of 2020, I started posting on TikTok and Instagram and started to get much more virality, more eyeballs, granted not as long, but more eyeballs. So started to get some traction there and just pretty much did everything myself. And right when I got to about 2 million followers is when I was like, this is a lot. This is a full-time job. I have these other income streams. I was able to spend 20 hours a week, probably creating content for about 2 years, and then started hiring. So I have a couple editors that help me out a little bit, kind of like a social media, like branding guy that kind of helps me with ideas and posting and things. So I have a small team, about 3 people that help me with it, but we put out, we're like right about 3.1 million followers, which is crazy because I'm not super buttoned up and super articulate. I can be, but not usually. I mumble and slur and talk a little fast, but I think people appreciate the not buttoned up look to a certain degree. I think I got lucky because social media, when I was getting in, was turning away from the Ferraris and the flexing and the pretend private jets and all that kind of stuff that was social media from like 2010 to 2020. And then it shifted and people got sick of that and they wanted to connect with somebody and they wanted to see that they could do what they were doing and they didn't want to Google at somebody. They wanted to join them. Another quote that I think is good that I put out there is competition happens at the bottom and collaboration happens at the top. So I think people want to collaborate. So anyways, I just got lucky in that like my style is not a flashy style. And that's what kind of social media leaned into a little bit, but I'm still very involved. I think it's the biggest mistake new people make is they think they can hire out their social media. And if you have a firm coming up with your ideas, shooting and editing for you, 100% people know. And that's why you don't, not you guys, but that's why people don't get traction. It's got to be authentic and you have to be involved in the process to some degree, or you're just not going to get any traction.
Love it,
Absolutely.
man. And how's just regular posting and social media help the real estate investing business?
So honestly, not a ton. It's helped my education business and coaching business more than anything. I do get sent leads from it that I pass on to my students, like nationally, because I'm in St. Louis. I do get people offering to invest money in me. I did have one of my students who sold the software company for 50 million, give me some money for like as a private lender. So now he's in the stable. So it has helped a little bit, but I haven't hit that button yet. I think I could create some type of funnel to get deals and or get funding and start a fund or syndicate, but I just haven't done that yet. It's more of an education funnel to help people and then also to lead to my coaching and education program.
Cool, man. Well, Mark, anything else for as we wind down?
No, I think it's good because I want people to really go to Sam's page and follow him and see exactly everything that he's done because it's great content.
Yeah, man. So how do we get a hold of you? Any final words?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much on all social media that you want to get on. I have a podcast called The Faster Freedom Show. My brand is Faster Freedom. So if you look up Sam or Sam Faster Freedom on most social media, I'll be on there. I have a decent presence on all of them, which is a little bit tougher to do. So pretty much anywhere you go, I'll have a decent presence there. So yeah, go check out the stuff, see what you think. But it's a great, you don't have to apply to watch any of it. It's a really, really good initial way to help as much as you can via social media. The podcast, I teach as much as I can, but obviously social media isn't tailored for coaching and teaching and implementation and getting a second set of eyes on things and having interaction and constant communication. So I obviously do have a program for that, but check out my social media stuff for free. If you're interested in that at all, just shoot me a message on Instagram. I can send you information on the coaching program, but I wouldn't go there first. I would just check out the free stuff, give it a couple weeks of seeing my stuff pop up on your feed. And then if you want more, great. If not, no big deal. Just check out the free stuff.
Love it, man.
All right, sounds good.
The Hermosi post. That was
Oh,
good.
the book with my book,
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah, that was a good one, man. I'll give it. Yeah, check out go on his page and look at it. He has the 100 leads. Was it 100 million leads? I forgot.
Yeah, I took Hermosi's book and said it just launched and there's a secret inside. Opened it up and it was my book, trying to promote my book a little bit. But yeah, no, it's $4.99 on Amazon. I'd make like $1.50 every book I sell. It's not a profit center. It's just a way to help people and get the brand out. So yeah, own your freedom on Amazon if you want to buy it. I think the ebook's 99 cents. So it's not a money maker. It's just a brand builder and a way to help people.
Love it, man.
All
Awesome.
right.
Well, thank you for being here, Sam. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you. So you guys know exactly what to do. Make sure you follow Sam. Let him know you found him through AZREIA. Guys, our show airs every Friday, 8 a.m. And make sure you subscribe, follow on all social platforms at AZREIA, AZREIA. And then if you want to come to any live events, go to azreia.org/calendar. That's azreia.org/calendar. And we would love to see you there. I'm there, Mike there. We're always in person. So thank you so much, Sam, for being a welcome guest to the show. And you just let us know if there's anything that we can do to assist you in your future endeavors.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for listening to the AZREIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delprete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to AZREIA.org and learn more about our community.